Hey guys, Ted at Dundon Motorsports here. We're doing a product spotlight on our intake kit for the 991.2 GT3RS. When developing the kit, we looked for opportunities to improve on Porsche's performance already. We found two major areas where the stock intake system is a restriction. The first is the air filter, and the second is the throttle body. Let's take a closer look at both of those things. The stock air filters for the GT3RS are the same size as this one's from a GT3, and they present a pretty substantial restriction. This is actually the same air filter from a 2014 Carrera, which is a 350 horsepower engine. You can imagine on a 520 horsepower engine, they provide some restriction. To fix that problem, we built this beautiful carbon fiber airbox. Needed a new airbox because we are trying to fit as much air filter in the space available as possible. Our filters ended up being 380% larger than the stock filter by surface area. And the reason for that is we're trying to preserve as much pressure as possible in the air going into the intake system. We also noticed that the stock throttle body was a restriction. The stock throttle body is 82 millimeters, and it's the same throttle body that you find on a 997.1 GT3. That engine is also 350 horsepower. You can imagine, again, 350 horsepower throttle body on a 520 horsepower engine, there's some opportunity there. So we fit a 93 millimeter throttle body. It's 28% larger. And again, the whole goal is to preserve as much pressure going into the intake valve as possible. To fit the larger throttle body requires the swap of the center plenum. That way you don't slam into another small opening. And a good visual illustration for kind of how these improvements help the engine is that of a straw. An engine is basically a big air pump, kind of like our lungs are. And you can imagine that these are the intake parts on a stock GT3RS. Try and take a full breath through a little coffee straw, and you can see how long it takes. I wouldn't want to breathe through that all the time. You get some Dundon magic. We open up the air filter size, we open up the throttle body, the air is able to get in a lot easier. You can see that happens a lot faster. Preserve some power and make your car even more fun to drive. Some folks have asked us, why don't you sell just the airbox alone? It's because once we understood the full picture, we couldn't knowingly just sell you an airbox when we know that the performance increase isn't going to be there. A good illustration is, again, taking some straws together. Here we have our stock throttle body and center plenum, and maybe a Dundon airbox. You can imagine you're not going to breathe any easier with this straw on the outside of this small straw. Again, not going to do the same job that an unrestricted system is going to do as it's complete. Airbox, throttle body, center plenum goes together. On a GT3RS, we'll share some dyno graphs here. It makes a big difference in the performance of the car.
As always at Dundon Motorsports, we measure the performance improvements on our dyno. If you look at the dyno sheet, you'll see a few different curves. The graph on the right is horsepower. The graph on the left is torque. The green curve is the car in stock trim. The yellow curve is the car with our street header power package. And the pink curve is the car equipped with our street headers and our intake kit. You'll see this on our website as a D3 power package. If you look at the curve on the right, you'll see the horsepower improvements. The car makes an additional 45 horsepower at the wheels over stock at 8,600 RPM. The curve on the left, you'll see an improvement of 52 foot-pounds of torque at 4,100 RPM. These are massive gains, and you really feel the performance improvement when you drive the car.
Another benefit of the carbon airbox is the sound. It's not only lighter than the stock intake track, but the stiffness of the carbon, and you got the side intakes coming out in front of the rear wheels. It sounds incredible on the car. The benefit of improving efficiency on the intake side is also magnified when we improve the efficiency on the exhaust side. We'll do another spotlight video on our exhaust systems, our street headers and muffler packages. When you improve the efficiency of the engine on the intake side, and you improve the efficiency of the engine on the exhaust side with our headers, the total improvement is better than each by itself. It's kind of like a 1 + 1 = 3 type of equation.
For more information on our GT3RS intake package, click the link in the video description below. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment. Thanks for watching.